Hey there, my name is Russ Laggan. I'm Regional Director of Growth, and I have with me my partner in crime, one of my favorite people who's becoming even more my favorite people every week, Frank Panunto. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, it's so good to see you, Russ. It's been a while since we got to do this together, so really excited to get back on the train, and let's roll, man.
All right, well, this is EXP Explained. So Frank and I have a little different tact on the way we do this. A lot of people talk all about EXP and how great EXP is, and that's wonderful, except for the fact that that's not really typically what I find people actually want to talk about. So, Frank, in this list, I just blasted off my quick list on the top. When I've interviewed hundreds of agents, thousands of agents, you've done the same. The same stuff comes up to us, right? They don't like tell me how great your company is. They say, tell me about training, tell me about support, tell me about how you're going to help me generate leads, make more money, do more business. Tell me about the tech and how it makes sense to make my life easier because I'm not super tech savvy. So do you have easy stuff to use or is it a pain in the butt? And then, of course, we always get into commissions. And what this all means across top to bottom, Frank, is really what they're saying to me. And I've always interpreted it and I spit it back to them is, so basically you want me to show you how to sell more houses so you can put more money in your pocket and enjoy the business more.
Yes. Yeah, bottom line, that's what everybody wants. I mean, when people make a move and they want to go to another company, it's all about being more successful and being in a better place now than they just left. I mean, it's obvious, right?
Why wouldn't you want that, right? Like there's no reason to move if you're not going to move the ball forward or bigger, better, faster, stronger, easier, more enjoyable, right? So that's a lot of the stuff we get into. So let's jump right into the top of the list here, like training. With training, let's just jump right in on training. So Frank, what do we have set up for training here?
Well, the training availability that we have, I think, is unmatched anywhere in the industry. The one thing people need to understand is that we are a publicly traded company on NASDAQ. We are not a franchise. We are one company. And the question that we get all the time, Russ, is, what about this whole virtual thing? And I always tell people the virtual thing is our greatest strength, especially when it comes to training. So we've got no walls that confine us, right? We have the world at our hands. So what we have is we have agents that are doing it at all different levels, whether it's at a beginner level, an intermediate level, or the top. And there's people here that are sharing their ideas every day to the tune of 50 plus a week live trainings every week for somebody at every level.
So it's cool because we've got people that are actually agents in the company that give back to the company. They're teaching people inside the company what's working today, as opposed to what we've seen, you've seen, I've seen. The broker that used to sell houses 42 years ago is teaching you how to do business today from 42 years ago a lot of times. So right now we're talking, how do you get current information, what's working on the ground where? And Frank, one of the things I love about this, we call it collaboration, is on this 50 plus, we've got people all over the country talking about what's working in their part of the world. And that's a lot of times it's different, right? So some of the stuff that people are doing in other places works in your place, but nobody's doing it yet. So it gives you an unfair advantage that you get the ability to see this cross section without having to go to a convention once a year.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right, Russ. And I think there's an underlying thing here, and that people need to understand is that our company was developed by a real estate agent. So Glenn Sanford was a real estate agent who built a company for real estate agents. So when other companies are out there saying it's the most agent-centric company that they work for, I would challenge that. I would say we have the most agent-centric company in the world because our company was founded by a real estate agent. I think it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. The other thing as part of this this training setup is, Frank, there's a bunch of people getting into the business that are brand new. And if you're coming into the business brand new, like now what, right? So our company mantra is we don't want people to fail. We want to have all the parts and pieces in place so that you have all of the training you need to be successful. And in addition to that, then we have a mentor program. So if you're brand new, you come in and you get plugged into the mentor program to get your first 3 transactions. So we ensure, number one, you're more likely to get those first 3, which can lead to 3 more, to 3 more, to 3 more than to 3 a month. And we don't want you falling apart and failing and not having a resource to be able to be successful. So like I personally take it personal when people under me fail. So I will do my part, but with the mentor program, we avoid people from failing, which is kind of a neat deal, right? So mentor program is part of that scenario.
Yeah, and then we also have this whole big thing that we call the EXP University, which is just an infinite amount of information. It's this great real estate library, if you will, of videos and pre-recorded things that people have done in teachings from all different things, whether it's lead gen, listing presentations, buyer consultations, A to Z, whatever you need in the form of a real estate and being a successful real estate agent in this industry, we have something for you.
not only do we have a library from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago that's stacked up, but you could probably find something on somebody that's doing something now that did something now that matches what you're doing too. So I can look at something and say, hey, what's going on in 2020 or what's going on in 2019 versus 2021? Man, the world changed, brother. So like if you didn't change, then you got mowed down and run over. So universities kept up to date. So we've got up to date stuff and always adding new stuff and new content to make sure you're on the cutting edge of knowing what's working today. The other thing we've got too, just the last part of that for training is, do we have coaching?
A little bit.
Success coaching, right? So we've got a whole system and another brand basically that the company owns called Success Coaching, as led by Jarek Robbins. He is the president of Success Coaching. You might not recognize the name Jarek Robbins, but you probably know his dad's name, Tony Robbins, right? Good guy to have as one of our partners, sister companies, helping with the coaching of people. And they coach a lot on lifestyle too. It's not just sell more houses, it's live a good life. And by the way, selling houses is how you finance that. I love that mantra that Jarek has brought into success. So
yeah,
let's jump on.
I don't think we can sing his praises enough. I mean, Jarek is an unbelievable guy, and to be in the same room as him is it's pretty special. He's a big asset to this.
You can't sing his praises too much. He doesn't like it. He's just a humble dude. Like you did, like Jarek's so great, and he's like, "Stop, guys, seriously."
yeah, but he really is. He really is.
Let's dive into support, Frank, because here's the fun part. You're a virtual company. There's no people. I can't go into the office. So how do you ever feel supported? Heard that more than once.
Probably the biggest misnomer that is out there, and probably the thing that you and I get the most. And I always challenge people. I say, well, you live within these four walls in your office. Yep. Let me ask you a question. What happens if you have a problem and your manager's not there? What happens if you have a problem with your accounting and the accounting department, which is not in that building, it's in some other building anyway, and they aren't there? What happens? What happens if your tech is down and you don't know how to get in touch with them? You are now stalled for 3, 4, 5 hours, maybe a half a day, could be a full day. Here's what I know about EXP, Russ. We never have that problem, ever.
It's kind of like it never sleeps.
Yeah.
Is that why I'm up all night? Maybe.
Yeah, probably. Right.
So from a support standpoint, what's the misnomer would be, well, like, how do I get in touch with people? So we have in almost all of our states, some of the states vary a little bit because of the way their structure is and state structure is. In every state, we have a broker, if not more than one broker. We typically have a broker in charge or a broker of record or managing broker, whichever title they call it in your state. And then there's typically, like in Florida, I believe there's 5 or 6 additional support brokers that support the main broker because we got so many people. So broker support is super, super great in these scenarios. Typically, there's more than one option, and you always have a couple of different routes in which you can gain and gather information that's not necessarily directly from the broker. You don't always need a broker. You just need an answer to, like, how do I do this? And there's a bunch of other agents that are willing to support that. So what other tools do we have besides going straight to the broker?
Well, we have this thing called the EXP World, which you have everything that you need. Any questions you have in any area of the business pertaining to where you may need support, all you have to do is log into what we call the EXP World, and everything you need is right there. You literally are taking a ticket. You have a little avatar guy. He'll walk up and take a ticket, and you'll get in line for whatever the issue that you're having is. And there will be a live person, Russ, a real live breathing person will be on the other end of this computer speaking to you to help you with your issue.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because my mother-in-law said this more than once, and I know I've repeated this. She's like, but Russ, I want to talk to real people. I'm like, don't worry, we've got real people. They just are an avatar in eXp World, and there's a live human being behind that. So when you plug in, you're looking at the avatar, there's a live human being behind that answers your questions. So this also works in conjunction with Workplace and with Workplace Chat, which is basically Facebook built specifically for, Facebook's built specifically for eXp. So you have the ability to have rooms and chats and also groups. You'll have a state group. You can have some local groups. And then, of course, you can always go direct with Workplace Chat, which is kind of like Messenger. Same exact thing, right? Go direct with you. Frank and you and I communicate on chat all the time, right? So Workplace is a great place to catch things. So you've got 4,000 or 5,000 of your favorite realtor friends in eXp in Workplace. And when I bump into an issue or want to see something or get some feedback on something, hey, guys, what do you think about this? Boom, everybody in your workplace can respond to that. Or I have a quick question. Can somebody help me with, where do I find this? That's a great resource for that. And you can get answers almost instantaneously versus having to wait for me to get off the plane that I was on for 5 hours yesterday to be able to answer the questions at 9:30 p.m. So that is much more efficient and effective use of your time. Anything else that we have as far as support?
Yeah, so we have these other things that where the agents help the agents, right? So we have all these different groups that we call influencer groups, and we have mastermind groups, and they meet literally, they're happening daily within our EXP world and within our universe that we live in. So you have agents helping agents. So Russ had talked about collaborations a few minutes ago. This is another way of support. What works in your market, Russ, is going to work in my market as well. We have to tweak it a little bit, but if it works, it works. So having the collaboration and having the support of your fellow agent, as you were speaking about before, is a huge thing for us.
Yeah.
Especially think about it this way, Russ. And we have people at every level. What happens if you're the number one agent in your office? Who do you collaborate with? Everybody's coming to you, and now you're giving all this information out, but nobody's helping you go even higher. Or what if you're a brand new agent and everybody's too busy to help you, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have that issue here, which I think is one of the key factors and key components to why our agents are so successful. Agents help agents here. It matters.
Yeah, and it's great because you're not competing. If somebody in Miami is asking a question, somebody in Houston's like, oh, I got that. Let me show you how to work that, right? So agent support is huge. Agent collaboration. We talk about collaboration. So a lot of people putting their heads together to make their businesses better. I also like the fact that we're talking about the organization that you're in and the family tree that you're in. There's a bunch of people within there that have a vested interest in making sure they're helping you. So instead of having one person that's in charge of helping you with success, you've got dozens and hundreds and thousands in some markets, including we have a lot of local events. We have people all over the country that do things local. I was at 2 local events on Wednesday. I was a guest speaker in the morning, and I was a guest speaker again in the evening in Seattle, Washington on Wednesday. Local support, we had a bunch of people that were part of the organization, a bunch of people outside the organization, because we just came to add value, teach people how to sell more houses, right? And that's the local stuff that helps you feel connected too. So if you're not feeling connected, start plugging into some of your local stuff. Start plugging into workplace. Get engaged, right? So let's dive on to the big grenade, right? Well, real estate commission. Okay. So the reason I like to do real estate commissions after that is we talk about what it costs before you know what you get. You don't know whether it's a deal or not, right? But if you get all of that and a number of other things, what is the cost of this? What is a commission structure?
All right. So we have a cap system over here at EXP. Everybody that comes in is on an 80-20 split. And with that, you have a $16,000 cap. So what we're talking about is once that 20%, which is the company dollar side, once that equals $16,000, you then move to 100%.
Yeah. So you're right around 80,000 GCI, you're at 16,000 to the company dollar, boom, you pop up to 100%. Cool. So once you get to the 100%, are there any other costs?
Yeah. So, well, even before you get that, we do have a couple of costs with each transaction. So we do have a $60 fee, which is basically a review fee. And then we have a $25 transaction fee as well. So you have an $85, I'm sorry, $85, correct, Russ? No, $60.
$85.
It's $40 and $25. Brain's going. It's 40.
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Woo!
It's 25 and 40. So it's $65 per transaction. And that would be your E&O and also which we call E&O. And make sure you're in compliance. So all that kind of stuff. Once you do hit your $16,000 cap and you go to 100%, there's then a $250 charge per transaction. Now that $250 charge also has a cap, and that cap's at $5,000. And then when that happens, something special happens, Russ.
What's that?
They become what's called an icon. They reach icon status with the company. And there's a lot of benefits to icon status, but let's talk about the financial part of that. So we just talked about earlier how you paid a $16,000 cap. Once you reach icon status, half of that $16,000 comes back to you right away in the form of stock. And we're going to be talking about stock in just a little bit. The other $8,000 will also come back to you. There's a couple of strings attached. One is we're big on culture here. What we ask is that the people who have had this success do give back, and they'll teach some classes and do some of those 50 plus trainings we talked about earlier. So if you get involved in that, the company will say thank you, and you get some of that money back that way. The last way that you get the remaining part of that $8,000 would be they want you to attend a couple of our functions. Primary EXP Con, which is our big convention that we have every year where the whole company gets together, and it's an amazing event, as well as some of the other ancillary events that go on throughout the year. Okay. So essentially, you have iconed. You have the opportunity to get the entire $16,000 back in the form of stock. So essentially, you didn't pay the company $16,000. You paid yourself $16,000. It's incredible.
Yes, so it's kind of a forced savings type of scenario for a lot of people. And I don't know about you, Frank, but I've talked to a lot of agents. They're like, how much money are you saving? None. Like, you're
Yeah.
60, right? Still got none, right? So let me recap this real quick because that went a bunch of directions fast. Okay. 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. Then you go to 100% with only a $250 fee on the next 20 sales, which is a total of $5,000, and that baby would cap, right? You've got $85 a month that you're paying on a monthly basis. That covers all your tech and so forth related stuff. And then on each transaction, you've got the risk management fee, which caps at $500. Okay. So that's like E&O, but we call risk management. And then compliance is $25 on each sale. And that goes on forever because we want to make sure all your paperwork's compliant. And we have the people to make sure they're reviewing that. Okay. Once you hit that 20 additional sales and a couple other things that go along with that, we declare you icon. You qualify for the icon status. And at that point, you qualify to have the $16,000 cap refunded back to you in company stock. I like to call it your forced savings program. You did a great job. Let's give you your money back. Now, you might say, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Well, there's a couple reasons, right? All these other companies out there are putting up billboards all over town and doing advertisements on TV and so forth. If you're out doing 25 and 30 and 35 sales in your market, you are the face of the company. You are the advertising. So instead of paying for a billboard, we're paying for you because you've done a good job in helping promote the brand and get exposure to the brand. Okay. That gets paid back. You get 8,000 of that back in stock right out of the gate for the production component. And then if you do the contribute back, remember we were talking about contributing back and agent support and contributing back and EXP University. This is part of the reason we've got agents at the top level doing that. Our top level people are doing that contribute back. And if you do the contribute back, they'll give you another 4,000 in stock. And then you get 2 for EXPCon, 2 for shareholders, which gets you connected to us. You get to see Frank's smiling face and give him a hug. He loves hugs. Get him.
Yeah. And then Russ, it brings us right back to what we just said a couple of minutes ago about this being an agent that built a company for other agents. Yes. So, in his mind, it's give the money back to the agents. And I think another question that you and I get a lot about this in regards to the money is fees. What kind of fees you have? We are not a franchise. There is no franchise fee. There is no royalty fee. We do not have desk fees because we don't have desks. So these fees that people assume that we do not have. We have the $85 fee for our tech, but that's it. No hidden cost.
What else am I missing? Nope. That's it. Okay. Once you've gone through this 4 or 5 times, it becomes a lot more simple. And what you'll find is that a lot of people are putting more money in their pocket. If they're at 70-30 splits or they're at 50-50 splits like we used to do to people, this is a way better deal to put more money in your pocket. Okay. So utilizing that and the tools, you're able to sell more houses. Right? You got a good comp plan split, utilize the tools available to you, and you're selling more houses, and then the commission's more irrelevant. If you sell 2, 3, 4, 5 more houses, who cares what the commission is, right? I got 30, 40, 50 more grand in my pocket. That's what I'm aiming for, right? So let's dive on to what else. Let's see. Leads. They ask about leads. Let's talk about that real quick. Where do we generate leads? Can we generate leads?
So our leads kind of tie into our whole systems portion of this conversation, right?
Yeah.
So our main platform and our leads is KV Core. And I know Russ is a huge fan of KV Core, but that's our CRM system, which when used and utilized properly, you can generate leads. You can keep in touch with your people. I mean, it's a really one of the premier platforms in the industry.
Yeah. So it's a cool part about the EXP system with KV Core is that, we're big fans of you generating business yourself. So instead of you waiting for me to hand you stuff, I want you to build your own self feeder. You want to eat? Just pull the lever, boom, smash some food in there and put it in your pie hole, right? So this is like a self-feeding system with KV Core, utilizing that as your CRM. There's a couple of tools within KV Core. There's a self-advertising system where you can advertise properties on Craigslist and Facebook. Which is cool because you hit the little ... and it's like build off of that house. It builds all the ads. You go into Craigslist to prove it. Boom, it'll advertise on Craigslist. We generate real business and leads doing that because not a lot of people do that anymore. That's a great tool to use in KV Core. By the way, you can learn how to do that over here in the training, right? In addition to that, we have Make It Rain that goes along with that, which is you want to invest a little bit of the money you have left over now back in your business. You have the ability to do Make It Rain where you can actually do some lead generation stuff that comes to you for a small cost. In addition to that, of course, we've got a couple of other fun ones. This is a new one, Frank, just rolled out at EXPCon, Referrals. Did you hear about Referrals?
I did. It's exciting.
Good news is I know how to spell it. So Referrals is very much like a lot of us know back in the day, Cardis. So a lot of these companies are moving people around, and there are companies that literally focus on and specialize in connecting with these companies and making sure they help that transition be smoother. A lot of people will call it relocation, where in fact, a lot of times it's not relocation anymore. It's just somebody saying, hey, show up in Georgia, you don't get to keep your job. And those people can plug into the system sometimes in various ways, and companies interact. And there's a lead generation source. You got to do a little bit of qualification for it. Got to do a little bit of studying for it. But once you get the understanding of what they're expecting, Revenos is a great lead generation source. And we just rolled that out at eXpCon a couple of weeks ago. So with that said, now you've got some business coming to you, and all you got to do is get qualified. And a lot of agents really love that one, Frank.
Yeah, and that leads into something else too, Russ. With us having this universal, no walls, all one company, think about the referral business and those referral opportunities that we have. Because we are in these groups and we have all this conversation and sharing and everything we've been talking about before, you're talking to people from all over the country and other times all over the world. One of the guys in my group that I talk to every week, he's in Puerto Rico. And I have one that just joined us from Spain, which is really cool. So we're talking to people all over the world, and think about the opportunity that you have. Just because you're talking to these people on a weekly basis. Back in the old days, you had to send postcards out or make phone calls out to people in different parts of the country, hoping that somebody would respond to you. Where I could just get on a video right now and I could talk to Russ. So you guys know I'm in Delaware right now. Russ is in Michigan, and we could bounce people back and forth like it's nothing.
Yes, I just jumped on. I'm holding my phone. You're like, Russ, what are you doing, man? You taking a call? No, man. Look, see this Workplace right here? I just opened Workplace on my phone. Of course, it's going to download something. I just opened Workplace on my phone, and I can go straight into the referral. That's how long it took for me to go into the referral system. And I can type in there, I have a referral for this specific town, and 10 people jump on that thing and be like, I'm ready. Interview a couple of them. Figure out which one's the best one for your customer, and then move from there. And by the way, you can watch that thing, and when a notice pops up, ding, I got a notification saying, hey, somebody's looking in Detroit, Michigan. I can pop on there, say, I can help you. I mean, I can't because that's not what I do now, but you could, as an agent, have it set up where you just pop some of those. So you've got an automatic built-in referral network for referrals in and out, which is the ability to generate business. You've got 86,000 agents, Frank. Do you think anybody knows
about this, though, Russ? Think about our prior lives when you had to do a referral. Usually went to a third party, and you didn't know that person. Number one, they're going to give this away in another state that you've never met and you don't know, and you're taking a personal friend or a family member and saying, "Hey, this person's going to take really good care of you." Really, what's their name? I don't know them. I've never met them, never seen them, but they're going to take really good care of you. That we don't have to do. And then at least another part when it comes to leads for us is we have a phenomenal marketing division. Where the tools that we have under our marketing umbrella are incredible. So if you want to do drip campaigns, you need to do postcards, you want to do keep in touch programs, whatever it is that you want to do, everything's there. And pretty much in a set it and forget it format. You might have to do a little bit of work, but for the most part, it's all available to you. And it's really incredible. It's very extensive. Yeah,
I think you use the word extensive. I'm overwhelmed when I go in there, because there's so much amazing stuff in there. I'm like, holy crow, I could spend a lifetime in here. It's not like, hey, we built a couple things for you. It's like, we built pretty much everything you could possibly imagine.
But that's awesome. The beautiful thing, Russ. It's like you and I, we train the same way on a lot of things. I think people get into business and they try to do so many different things at once. And what Russ and I like to do is two or three things and get them to a mastery level, do them really, really, really well. Then you're going to start to see the results. So you go into the marketing department of what we have, and you're doing it, whether it's a drip campaign or whether it's a farming letter, but you really do it, like really get into it to a mastery level. You'll see the results. It's all good for lead gen.
Frank is like, I don't know what to do with that. You know what I do? I go into university and I go, hey, who knows how to use this? And they go, oh, we got you, brother. There's already a video on that. Right. And by the way, one of the things I love too is somebody's smart enough to know, hey, let's do the 101 videos for people like me that are like, first, Russ, you turn on your computer. Oh, good one. Thank you for that, because I was wondering where to find this. And then secondly, you open your browser and go to, sometimes there's things like that are really important to me because otherwise I get lost. Okay. So we got 2 things left in 4 minutes. Woo! Here we go again. Stocks, exit plan. We have an exit plan. That is something almost nobody else has the ability to throw on their list. Exit plan. So what is a stock? Talk to me about stocks.
Yeah. So stocks, you get an opportunity to be an owner of this company is the bottom line. Again, that was Glenn's vision. So when we talk about stocks, when you join the company, obviously you can purchase stocks whenever you want, but when you have your first transaction, you get a stock. You get a stock reward from the company. Good. When you cap, you will get another stock grant.
Yeah.
Should you bring somebody on? And that's something we'll talk about very briefly, but should you, you're so happy about being here, you love the company so much, you've talked to a colleague within your area that says, you really need to come see what this company's all about. They join.
Yep.
When they do their first deal, you get another stock grant.
Yep. Every time you add a stick figure, when they have their first closing, you get a stock grant. One of the things I love, Frank, is that you can actually designate in this company, which I know a couple others that can't do this, because I kept asking, I'm like, we got to do this. It's awesome. Well, you can take 5% of every one of your commissions off the top, and the company will sell you stock at a 10% discount. So you take 5% instead of investing it in a franchise. At the end of your career, go to your franchise at whatever name box place and say, hey, man, I've been paying 6% for the last 25 years. I've paid in $38,000 or $148,000. Can you give me back that at 10% increase? Like, no.
Russ, but let's not gloss over that, because that's a really important point that you just bring up. Let's say you're a producer, that you're somebody that's a pretty good hitter. You're doing 30, 40, 50 transactions a year, and you're taking 5% of every one of those, and you're putting it away. First of all, you made money the day you did it because you got it discounted, right? Sure. So you talked about that. So you've already made money. But what does that look like 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road? You got a couple $100,000 sitting in there that you put away that in any other company you would have given back to the owners. Yeah,
think about it like this. On $100,000 gross commission income, you're coughing up $6,000 every year. More, hopefully you're in the business 20 years. That's $120,000 you've put into the till. And by the way, you don't get to keep interest on that either. So now you're investing that money into yourself, and you're able to actually take it in company stock, which is pretty cool. The other thing I really like too is then we talked about that stick figures. We add stick figures, we get stocks for those, right? Of course, we have what we call the revenue share plan, which is simply if you bring one of these people over to the company and they're making the company money, shouldn't you get a piece of that? That would kind of seem logical. And then here's the fun part. Well, that person you brought in brought somebody in. Well, shouldn't you get a part of that too? Because if you didn't bring your person in, those other people wouldn't have been here. So in this system, they go 7 levels deep with the ability to add people. So if this person adds somebody, you get a little piece of all of that stuff, and it really starts to add up. So if you're out and about doing real estate sales and you're talking to other real estate agents when you're doing sales, there are some of them who'll say, hey, what's the deal with this? I heard you guys got some crazy stuff going on. Tell me more about that. You tell them about it. They go, hey, I'm interested in that. I want more info. That person joins us and you get a piece of that. And that can add up substantially. So you've heard a lot of people talk about EXP being the recruiting company. And here's the reason why. There are some people that do this at a really high level, and they make a lot more money doing that than they did selling houses, which is why they're so slobbery excited about it. It's exciting that way. So with that being said, revenue share is an additional stream of income. If you want to do that in the process of doing sales, go for it. You want to take it to the next level, reach out to us. That's what we're specialists with. But it's available for you for another stream of income, which most other companies don't have.
Yeah, and I think the important point to drive home with that you said was, that the money that we're getting paid, that's coming out of the company dollar. So that's not coming out of, if you're bringing people over, the important thing here is to know that you get to choose who you want to be in business with.
Yes.
Russ and I clearly were separated at birth, and we would have met if we were lived both in Michigan. We've been friends, and we've been working together anywhere we went. If he went to a great company and brought me, or I brought him, we would want to work together. So I want him to share in the same thing that I'm sharing in. The company's rewarding me for that. It's not coming out of Russ's commission. It's coming out of the company dollar. So 50% of all the company dollar that's generated in this company goes back to the agents.
Yep.
Let's say that again, Russ. 50% of the company dollar that's generated in this multi-billion-dollar business, this multi-billion-dollar company that we have, goes back to the agents. Let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
Right?
Very cool. All right, Frank, we are time up. We're done. You got to be somewhere else. I got to be somewhere else. We got our 30 minutes EXP Explained. I'm Russ Laggan. This is Frank Panunto. If you guys like this, want to see more, get more questions, ask more questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us or reach out to the person that sent you to this video. We'll see what they got to say, and they can direct us to, if they need help, they can send them us too. So, Frank, great to see you again. I will see you next week on EXP Explained. Have a great one, guys.